We are back.
We are back.
What a pleasure to have the two gentlemen that actually helped me start this platform come back and sit down for the first episode back of the After Hours podcast. It's probably been 3 or 4 months now since
Almost five.
since I sat down with not just you guys but with anybody just to talk about stuff that we always get into, whether it's life or business or personal development, and it's nice to sit back down with you guys and get the show back on the road. So I know you've had some great stuff going on, the both of you guys, the last couple of months, and let's reconvene, man. Tell me what's been going down.
Full circle.
I would say for us, it has been a grind. It's been a grind, bro. There's been a lot of things that you think are going to happen for you that don't happen, and there's a lot of things you think aren't going to happen that happen, So I would just say it's just been a lot of learning. A lot of learning, for anyone listening to this that is new in a profession or fresh out of college, once you find whatever your thing is, let's just say there's a few years before you really get good enough at it and you really understand what's going on for you to start seeing results. So for us, it's just been we can put things on paper. We've done amazing podcast episodes. Our platform has grown a ton. We've gotten sponsors. We've lost sponsors. We've taken trips. We've succeeded. We failed. But at the end of the day, I would say we're right on the brink of greatness right now. We're close to it. So it's been a grind, brother.
Well, cheers to that, man.
Yeah, cheers to that.
On the brink of greatness.
On the brink of greatness, brother.
I feel like growing up, everybody always paints that picture of what you should do and how you should be and how life should go. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure we all realize at this point that it never goes that way. I always thought my life would be, a certain way, and I'm blessed and I'm grateful for everything that's happened and everything that is to come. But just like you said, you think it's supposed to go a certain way. You work on things that should happen, and the things you don't expect to happen at the time that it maybe shouldn't or should, and life just continues throwing curveballs at you, but it's up to us to, navigate through everything and, keep striving towards greatness. That's what I'm here for. So
I'd love to know over the past 5 months. Now I know you've been doing some big things, and you got a lot of, and there's also been a lot of adversity in your life as well that's maybe driven you to do a lot of these things. Tell me a little bit about where you're at. Where are you at financially, physically? How do you feel as a man? Are you happy with your life right now? Tell me a little bit about what's going on in your life.
Yeah, so I love getting into stuff like this, and my life's made up of a couple things. I feel like, obviously at this point my daughter's number one. My daughter's 3.5 now, and the way time has flown by so fast, it's just unbelievable. And I still wake up every day and I'm like, I can't even believe I have a 3.5-year-old little girl. It's the most amazing thing, aside from any adversity or challenges or anything bad that happens in life. When you're around her and she smiles or whatever it is, she does anything, it just turns your day upside down in a positive way. It's the most amazing thing in the world. Obviously raising her as a single dad, she has a great mother, but being a single dad is not something I ever thought that I would go through in life. But forget me, I care about my daughter, of course. So we both work very hard to make it, the best possible environment that we can for our daughter. So, I'm blessed and I'm grateful that, her mother and I have a great relationship, which is amazing. So,
do you think she's at the age where she even understands that you guys are separated? Like, how do you, as a parent, deal with that?
That's a good question, because like today, I'll give you an example. I got a call from her mother at like 3:00 that Gianna was in class, and she said, I want to leave today. I want to go to Daddy's house. And, is that because she knows we're at two separate houses? I'm not sure. I'm sure she starts to catch, onto things that she realizes we're not in the same place all the time, because she does make comments. But we try, like I said, whether it's a holiday, whether it's a birthday, no matter what it is, we try to be together, for her, of course, just to make it the best possible environment. And her upbringing, to make her upbringing, as great as it possibly can be with two parents that are co-parenting, so... Yeah, it's definitely tough. Forget what we go through as parents. It's stressful, and it's tough for any parent to see your kid not have two parents that are together. but she's priority. We have to do whatever we can and put aside, our whatever it is we're going through and make sure she's number one always. That's my priority.
And how does that in your life? I could just imagine how hard that is, or maybe it's a blessing. Putting your daughter's problems before your own, putting anyone's problems before you own. I mean, what I've kind of learned, especially over the past 3-4 years, getting out of college, being on my own, and really realizing like you're all you got a lot of the time, and you kind of realize how selfish you are, especially as a man, when you want to make it. Now, you've been blessed with the sense with your daughter, where you have to care about someone more than yourself. So how do you juggle, like, when you have a lot of shit going on, knowing that you still have to be strong and there for your daughter?
Yeah, that's what puts the fire on, for myself at least. That's what puts the fire under my ass, to be honest with you, because when I found out I was having my daughter 3-4 years ago, that's kind of where I was always pretty successful in my I started 10-11 years ago at this point, so it took me probably 4 or 5 years into my business to realize, like, all right, this is what I do. I can make money doing it. I can provide a life for my family in this career. But once I found out I was having a kid at like 26, that put a fire under me to really realize that there's no other option but to make sure I'm successful. And when I say successful, not just monetarily successful, but successful as a person. And that means being the best person you could possibly be, because now you have somebody else to worry about. That person has no idea that you're all they have right now, your daughter or your son, whoever you have. So you have no choice but to put your adversity or your struggles to the side. Some people can't in life, and we know those sad stories that can't put their challenges to the side when they have kids. But to me, I mean, they're all we have. We're all we have because they don't know better because they're so young, but we're all we have for them. So we have no choice. Not that it would be a choice, because it's just instinct for me to want to provide and take care of my daughter. But once you take on that responsibility, it's our duty as human beings to make sure that, we're the best possible parents we could be, for them. That's priority, so.
Yeah. We, it's funny, like I've heard like when we were in Miami, this brings up two things I heard about like parenting, right? So one of the guys we had on, he has a daughter also, and she's nonverbal, can't walk, anything. She's 6 years old. Her life expectancy is 8 to 10. And, he spoke about it, and he's an IFBB pro. Steve will do its personal trainer, jacked in elevation. And, his whole thing was that so many parents don't appreciate their kids enough. And he was like, what would the shit he would do to watch his daughter run into his arms, and run into the mall because his daughter doesn't even, can't walk, can't even speak. And he just said a lot of parents use their kids as an excuse to not go to the gym, to not, do better in life. Everything's like, oh, my kid's this, or I can't do this because my daughter, my son, and he was just like, he said, those are the most selfish people.
I agree.
One, and then like two, you were just talking about like bringing, raising your daughter and like giving her a good upbringing. And like from the time I've known you, like you're obviously always all about your daughter. You know what I'm saying? You could tell that's like you're a good dad. And we were actually at Carlos's house. He told that cool story about the parent. You remember that?
About which parent?
How he has 2 kids. So there's a story, right? So it's just like a metaphor, I guess, or some type of like folk tale. And he was like, there's a alcoholic, drunk father, and he has 2 sons. One son went on to follow his father's footsteps, and he was a drunk, drug addict, didn't do anything with his life. And they asked him, like, why do you think your life turned out this way? And he was like, I mean, how can you blame me? Look at my father, right? The other son went on, graduated college, started a business, made millions of dollars. They said, how did you choose this life? He's like, what do you mean? Look at my father.
Yeah.
Right? So like how important upbringing is and what it can do to change the trajectory of a kid's life. Like you can either be a parent that your kid wants to be like, or be a parent that your kid wants to be nothing like.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works out for the kid in the best if you aren't living a good life. But I think for your scenario, you're obviously like raising your daughter correctly. You know what I'm saying? And just leading by example.
As best as we possibly can. You know, there's things that happen that are unexpected. Like you said in the beginning of the podcast, you always think things are going to go a certain way and they go left instead of going right, whatever the case may be. But you have to just realize that, you know, you have a life in your hands now. So there's nothing you can do but be the best version of us to be able to help them, you know, be who we want them to be. Because, you know, even at our young age, because I'm sure a lot of people will think we're young still, we make mistakes every day. There's things we do that I'm sure we regret, and we say we'll never do it again. And our kids, we never want them to do that, and whatever it is, you know. But I feel like as humans, we're all going to always make mistakes. But as long as we try to show them the right path, which I think we all know is, you know, that's the best we can do. Like you just made a good point. One of the kids turned out one way, and one of the kids turned out the other way. I truly believe, and some people might disagree with this, I believe it has a lot to do with the kid as well and with us. You know, I believe that I'm built a little different than most people. I'm sure you believe the same way about yourself, whether it's in sports, in academics, in business. You know, you have to think highly of yourself in life to, I think, give off, you know, the energy that you need for you and for others to thrive, you know, around you. So, you know, I think that's an important part also. And I feel like when people are in bad situations, it's also them. It's how they handle it. You know, I've been put through adversity, you know, all of us, not just now in life, but, you know, my parents were divorced when I was young. I think it's easier when they're younger, in my opinion, because I guess they don't know what's going on. You know, as you said, they start to, and as we were talking about, they start to pick up on little things, I feel like, where they know you're not together.
Right.
But anybody could take a negative situation like your parents getting separated and use that as their you know, why I'm acting out or why I'm doing this. And I never acted that way, you know, and I'm not saying my situation was better or worse. You know, I had a great childhood. My parents were both loving, amazing parents. You know, they just didn't work out together. And just like my daughter's mother and myself didn't work out together, that's just life sometimes. And unfortunately, it's a lot of people's lives, you know, especially nowadays. So
Yeah.
as long as you know what you have to do as a person and you're family oriented and you show them at least what you think is right, you know, that's really all we could do as people, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody's dealt a different hand of cards, and it's kind of how we decide to act. And acting out, in my opinion, I feel like is self-control. And a lot of people have a tough time with self-control, and maybe it's they don't have somebody to lean on. Maybe they have nobody to talk to. You know, we all have a great friend circle around us. I've always chose to align myself with people who are like family. You know, I would never surround myself with people that I couldn't trust or rely on. Obviously, you meet people that let you down in life. That's just something that's going to happen, you know, no matter who you are. But I've always tried to surround myself with people who have the same, not just vision, but the same morals and values, you know. And that's going back to the daughter thing. That's how I try to, you know, I try to instill those morals and values in my daughter, whether I'm together with her mother or not, you know, and that'll never change, you know. So I'm blessed. I'm grateful for everything that has happened and everything that's to come, you know, in my personal life and in business. Thank God the last couple of months, you know, this business has been challenging for most people, the mortgage industry, for the last 2 or 3 years. You know, it's an economy that most people have never really seen. You know, I'm with people that are in the business, in the financial world for years, you know, 30, 40, 50 years. And they've never seen the average person, whether you're in real estate or in any business. You could be an attorney, you could be in financial sales, you could be a loan officer. You know, people have had challenges the last year or two for whatever reason. You know, so I'm blessed the last 6 months. I know you were saying how are things going financially. You know, we're pumping out loans over here at Hartford. You know, we have a great system. We have a great team. You know, we've put systems in place when things were slow to now reap the rewards of the business getting busier with rates coming down. So, you know, I'm blessed, thank God, to, you know, be able to be successful during times that are challenging. I hate to not see everybody be successful, but that's just life. You know, we all wish everybody could, you know, obviously accomplish. I want to be like the next person that's ahead of me. I'm not even close to where I need to be or want to be in life. But I feel like it's always that chase. You're always chasing that next goal. But again, we're blessed and we're grateful to be able to be successful in a time where most people in our industry are having challenges. And I'm old school. I tell it how it is. Like those people that are having challenges, they probably didn't do the right thing when things were busy. You know, they didn't put the right systems and processes in place in their business and their personal lives, you know, to be able to reap the rewards of what some people, you know, can accomplish in our life and in business. So I'm blessed, man, and I'm grateful for everything that's happened this year. Like you said, when you go through adversity, which I'm sure will happen every day and week and month and year until we're not here anymore, you know, it's up to us to really overcome everything. And that's what I've learned, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. No matter what comes in our way, you got to overcome it.
And I
Pushing
heard
forward.
keep going.
That's it, brother.
I heard that you had the company's historic high.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year. So going back to, I think, March or April, you know, Hartford's in business since 1983, the bank. So there's, you know, when you close a mortgage, you know, the amount that you lend to the borrower is the amount of volume that you do. If you do a $500,000 loan, your volume's $500,000 for the month. So we've been blessed to, and I've been blessed to, I think I set the record in March or April, you know, for the volume at Hartford, you know, since they've been in business. Then another extremely successful gentleman at our company had beat that record the following month.
Wow.
And I remember, you know, once he beat the record, which I love that push. I said to myself, I said, I don't know if this one's obtainable now. You know, he put up a tremendous number, you know, for mortgages. You know, maybe not, you know, there's different there's different systems. Like there's brokers, there's bankers. You know, for us, you know, if you close 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 loans a month, you're a tremendous player in the mortgage business. Then you have brokers, you know, that their model's different. So the way they originate business, you know, they, for whatever reason, they seem to do more volume than us retail bankers. We work on different types of deals. You know, maybe the deal's a little more challenging or whatever the case may be. So our volume tends to not be as high as brokers. But, you know, we're blessed to, so I had set the record, I think, in March or April. Then the other guy beat it. So I remember it was the beginning of, I think, August or the end of July where I said, I got no shot. I got no shot after, you know, he put up a tremendous number. And then 2 weeks into the month, they just started dropping. They started dropping. And then I ended up doing, you know, like $5.5 million in volume, which in this market's, you know, I'm grateful to do that big of a number. And I had set the record for the most volume, you know, in a month done at Hartford by a loan officer. So we kind of keep chasing each other, which is what I love about, you know, being here. You know, you could have a great month, but then somebody's behind you next month to push you and not beat you, but set the standard. You know, it's not that it's a competition in business, you know, and with us here, but we're all competing to push each other, you know. So I love when people really do something that's like, wow, you know, how do I do that now? And then it's crazy how it happens. It's like something gets in your brain where it's like, I'm going to do everything I can to figure this out. And, you know, sometimes it works, you know. So that is, you know, that is one of the things I love about this industry is that you get to work with like-minded people who are on the same mission as you. It's the best feeling in the world to help somebody who, whether they're a first-time home buyer buying a house or they had an issue with their credit or their life or whatever it is, to help that person and see them at the closing is the most amazing thing in the world. To also be able to give our family a good life and get paid by doing it, you know, that's another reason why we do it. So, you know, it's amazing to be able to help yourself and help other people. And, you know, like I said, I'll keep doing everything I can to, you know, be the best in this industry. And the more we continue to better ourselves, I feel like the business will just keep getting better and better. You know, when I decided 6 or 7 months ago to not change my life, but I changed certain things in my life, you know, spending less time on, you know, eating junk food, you know, getting more consistent in the gym. Not that I'm even close to where I want to be. You know, you guys are more consistent, you know, obviously with your physical routine and your health routine, which is something I have to really focus on.
We don't work a full-time job, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a little different.
Listen,
No, I'm fucking around with
you always make time, and I'm sure you guys know this, you always make time to do the things you want to do in life.
Of course.
Yeah.
Whether it's a relationship, a job, you know, something fun, a hobby, you always make time to do the things you want to do. But it's I feel like challenging sometimes to make time to do the things that we know we should do, you know. So that's one of the tough parts about life, is finding time to do those things that we know we need to do to later in life be like, okay, this is why I did this, not be 50, 60, 70 years old and be like, I can't change that now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm fascinated because you broke the company's record twice in a short amount of time. I haven't seen you that much in that time period, so
That's why you haven't seen me.
Yeah, because you've just been fucking grinding. So like,
No
I want to know, what did you do in that time period to break the company record twice? How is that even possible?
So I feel like over time, just by being a little bit different than I feel like your traditional person you would deal with when doing a mortgage. I try to be a relationship person. I'll go out and I'll take you to dinner. I'll come meet you. Like one of my clients, I went to her house in the Hamptons last week or a couple of weeks ago. I sat down with her family. We had dinner. I build a different relationship with my clients. And before you know it, their uncle, their cousin, their sibling, their kid, they're all calling you for a mortgage. So I just truly feel like over the last 5-6 years of me being licensed, I'm in the business about 10, but I'm licensed about 6 years. Over the last 6 years of me being licensed in my business, besides starting the social media, which has definitely helped building a brand for ourselves, because I truly believe that it's not just about who you know anymore, it's about who knows you. I feel like just putting in, number one, the work, building the right relationship with the people that I've done business with, making referral partners, realtors, attorneys, whoever sends you those deals sometimes, making those people happy. And then genuinely doing the right thing. We're all allowed to make money when you provide a great service to people. I feel like people sometimes misconstrue that. They think that it's all about making money. You deserve to make money if you help people accomplish what they want to accomplish in life. That's why a lot of my clients, whether they have a loan that qualifies with less fees or more fees or whatever the case may be based on what they qualify for, they don't question me because they know that when I go to Dean for a mortgage, they see our reputation. First of all, it's all over. Nowadays in 2024, if you don't have a good reputation, you can't really be in any business. So by doing the right thing over and over again, I think that's definitely helped lead people to just say, all right, I want to go to Dean for a mortgage now. Now, I truly believe with hard work comes luck. So I'm blessed to have put in the work the last 5 or 10 years to where now it is a little easier for me to obtain the business, which helped me accomplish those great months, which helped me have those great months. The last 6 or 7 or 8 months have been busy, and I truly believe rates came down a little bit, but it's also planting seeds, building the right relationships, taking the extra steps that a lot of people that I see in my business don't do. Whether it's a Sunday. Sometimes people think because if you're out of the office on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, like you did the wrong thing. No, it's about what you're doing on a Sunday at 6 o'clock when someone needs that pre-approval, and I'll stop what I'm doing and drive to their house. Whatever it is, it's about those little extra things that I truly believe will add up to those big wins. And a lot of people, they'll reject that phone call, whatever it is. And in our business, in any sales and service business, it's about who we are. They know if you're on the phone with them, they know the mood you're in. They could tell, the energy you give off. You just have to be who you are. And I feel like the success that I've had is by just being who I am. That's it. Being the best person I could be. And that just leads to, I think, great things in business. So
would you say
there's no specific formula for success. It's hard work. It's educating yourself, and it's surrounding yourself with the right people and team, because I truly believe you can't do it by yourself. You could be successful by yourself, but to accomplish what we want to accomplish, you need a great team around you, hands down.
So would you say in sales in general, maybe not just the mortgage business, would it be more beneficial to be like skilled, like knowing the ins and outs of every qualification and deal and really being like textbook smart, or just being more of the people person, being more likable? Like, what do you see you find more success in, like being the technically smart guy or being the guy that shows up to the house being smarter? Like, what would be your advice, say, to like a young sales guy? Like, learn the business first or because you can't really teach that other like gift of gab, being a people person.
No, you can't, because that is a gift, like you said, the gift of gab, to have that, people personality, to where like you'll walk into a restaurant and talk to somebody at the bar and, ask them what they do for a living. I never had that. I was never that person. When it comes to business, I have that ability, but starting that conversation was always like tough for me, no matter who it was, whether it was a deal, whether it was a girl at the bar, no matter what it is, I always had that issue with the icebreaker. Like, how do we start this conversation? I feel like to start out in any sales job, you have to educate yourself. You can't just go out in the field and think that people are going to give you an opportunity to do their mortgage, to buy their home, or to help their referral partner, buy their client's home. Buying a house, for the average person is the biggest financial decision they'll ever make in their entire life. So can you get lucky and just get business? Yeah, of course, if you're a good-looking person or whatever it is. But I truly believe it starts with educating yourself. You need to have a good team, like I said. You can't just get into the mortgage industry or the real estate business and think that I'm going to get business unless you have the golden ticket, somebody that's going to give you deals or whatever it is. You need to start by educating yourself. You have to be around the right people. I learned by just listening to people around me and taking the positives and negatives from each person and saying, I'm not going to say that, or that sounds great, I'm going to put that into my pit, whatever it is. So you have to educate yourself. The work ethic, I truly believe, especially in the beginning of anybody's career, is side by side with educating yourself, because if you don't put the work in, no matter how smart you are, you're not going to get the results. You're going to get minor results, but we're not here for minor results. We want to win big, obviously, in our business and in life, or we wouldn't do what we do. It's not the easiest thing to deal with people to do their mortgage. As much as I love doing it, you're dealing with their emotions, their family's emotions. You're dealing with realtors, attorneys, and I'll confidently say, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, it's always the responsibility of like the lender, the person with the money. We're the people with the money. We're giving the money for them to buy the house. So as much as the team is important, on a transaction, it comes down to the people with the money always, I feel like. So the pressure's always put on us. So if you're not going back to what we were talking about, if you're not educated and you can't explain the closing cost to a client, or if you can't explain why this has to be paid or why this is happening, I wouldn't do business with me. So I was a sponge when I started in my business. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed or the sharpest tool in the shed. I went to college for 6 months or a year because I played golf. Golf was something I loved. I had a passion for it. So I went to Nassau Community College. I thought that there was an opportunity there, and it just wasn't for me. So I was never school smart, but I realized, once I made a little bit of money, I realized, like, all right, you could do this. This is what life's about. And that's really it, man. So I believe that you can't just have one or the other. If you work really hard, just like if you're really smart, you're going to see minor success. But you have to eventually be able to apply a little bit of both, in my opinion. You have to know the business you're in. You can't just, and that doesn't mean you have to be smart. Street smart, what you do. People say the guys that are street smart, I'd rather be street smart than book smart. You always hear that, I feel like. And I don't necessarily agree with that 100%, but I believe you have to have a little bit of both to be able to be extremely successful, no matter what it is. You can't just have one quality. You have to kind of blend everything in together, and that is kind of how you get to where you want to be.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
what was your mindset from 7-8 months ago? Because obviously I was spending like a lot more time with you during that time, and you could just tell like you were on edge a lot. You were, you seemed frustrated. You seemed down, and now you seem like a totally different person. So outside of business, money, success,
Yep.
just like your pure mindset, like what actually was like going on with you mentally there to now, and like how'd you get out of that? Was it the success that mentally got you out of that, or was it like something you did? Did you like dig deep or?
Yeah, I mean, listen, not being around my daughter every day is obviously something that nobody ever realizes, like what it comes with until it's actually going on in your life, I guess. So that obviously was something that I didn't expect. So it's definitely something that kind of made me realize, like, what's next now? You know what I'm saying? So as much as I truly believe that it's better for people to be in a positive environment than force something that's not going to work. I believe that, of course, but that's definitely something that made me realize like I got to do this even more now, because I can't let my family down, my daughter down, So once I wasn't around my daughter on a daily basis, that's something that kind of it didn't put me down, because if I got put down, then I'm hurting her. You know what I'm saying? So, but it made me realize like, oh shit, this is real life. I never thought this would happen to me. Until it happens to you, you never realize that, oh shit, it's real. So that's definitely something that, and still does obviously make me not like quite like what, like how could, this is life. It's just how life works sometimes. There's no explanation as to why it happened, but you realize how fast things happen. You're like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm here now. 30 years old soon, and it is what it is. You can't control certain things, I always say. So obviously, when going through certain things in life, finances become stressful. I don't care who you are. Some people say they don't care about money. I truly believe that money, besides health, because health's number one, obviously, you can't control health all the time. Money obviously makes things easier or makes things more stressful for certain people. Not for everybody, but when certain people are in certain situations, sometimes they have no choice. You have to be successful. So obviously going through challenges in business and, going through whatever we went through for a year or two, I was always blessed to be busy in our industry. But when you're a team player and when you have people that rely on you, no matter who you are in any sales career, when you have a company or a team, not everybody's going to be successful. It's just not going to happen. It's impossible. So that was also a challenge for me to see people go through a tough time for a long time, for 2 or 3 years, to watch people struggle financially, even around you, in business, because that leads to their lives and their personal lives. That's tough for me. I don't want to see anybody, go through that, even though it's real life, obviously. So, obviously, putting all that stuff together, I mean, I was always good at keeping my personal shit and my business shit aside from like enjoying my life. So no matter what I was going through, I always was good at, taking a vacation or going out to dinner or being happy with my close friends. No matter what I was going through in life, I always made sure that you have that mental clarity. I feel like that's so important.
You got to feel good.
Yeah, you have to feel good.
You got to feel good.
I'm genuinely and always was genuinely in a place where I could say that no matter what was going on in life or going on in my life, like when you put yourself in those situations around your friends or around people you love, you forget everything, no matter what it is. Yeah, just how it is.
I've been
some people don't have that, which sucks. Some people are just down when they're going through stuff, and whether it was work or the minute I leave a bad situation, I look for the light at the end of the tunnel. So that I was always blessed to have that ability to not just dwell on what's going on or the past or whatever it is.
You have to be positive. Bro, I've been realizing it a lot more now. There's this guy, his name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Great guy. He is, I would say, the first person to ever make like law of attraction and spirituality scientific. So this guy he's a doctor, he's a medical doctor, and he's came out with basically all of the science behind quantum physics and law of attraction and spirituality. And I've been super tapped into him recently because I truthfully believe a lot of my shortcomings and a lot of our shortcomings are because you just have to go through them. Like as rich as I want to be, and as much in a different place as I want to be, that's not the real value right now. Like the value at 27 years old is the failures. Like if you were to put a dollar amount on all of the things that we've had to go through in the past, I'd say year, 2, 3 years, we're earning our stripes. We're and so
brick by brick, bro. Like they always say.
Brick by brick, but I'm getting tired of it, like I would love nothing more to be sitting here with $100,000 watch on my wrist and we can go, to Miami. Like that's just the life that I want to live. I don't know why, but I just think it would be fun right now if you were like, dude, PJ, We called it. We're going to London. Because why not?
Sounds great, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Make it happen.
Why not? And we will make it happen. And I do believe a lot of the failure has been necessary, just because, now, I mean, everyone always says it. Of course, we're going to appreciate it more when we get there. But I'll tell you this much. I heard this quote, actually, that people that win like the mega lottery have a high suicide rate, because you go from 0 to 100 and you don't appreciate it, and you realize that like you just got the thing that people says makes you happy, and you have it now. It's there. $20 million, call it. It's there. And you're not happy. And what do you fucking do now? Because now you can't go and learn the mortgage business or learn sales or start a podcast with your friends in your hometown and go through that struggling process. Like, you have it all, and you're in a bad position. So I say that as much as I'm upset about the failures, I'm happy that they've happened, but I'm getting done with it. So back to Joe Dispenza. You brought up a great point of, even when shit financially was tough for you, you still were going out with the boys, and you separated work from business. And I've learned, for anyone listening right now, it's very important in life that you feel good, because for the law of attraction to work, if you feel like shit, you're going to get shit. If you feel down and you feel depressed, You're not going to close deals at the office, bro. I'm not in an office environment, but I just know that, like, when someone's going through a tough time, as much as you want to support them and you want to like let your hand out for them, that energy is rough to be around. And if I'm sure clients can feel that.
Yeah, of course.
No
matter who it is, especially being here in an office. Like, if somebody walks in here and they're giving off negative energy, it affects everybody around you. And I know that firsthand, so you have to do your best to leave things outside, especially when you're in a business, because you have to realize and not be selfish and say, all right, I'm not affecting just myself, I'm affecting the people around me. So you have to kind of do your best to walk in here and leave the baggage at the door, like they say. So,
and you got to do the things on the side that make you feel good without money.
But that's why I always, like I said before, no matter what it was that you were going through in life, and somebody always has it worse than the next, you always have to make time to do those things that you want to do. Some people don't have that ability, but there's things, like you said, that don't involve money that can make you happy. At least I know for myself.
100%.
So you have to kind of always try to make time to find time to do those things.
Yeah.
So that's.
I love that about you, bro. I love that you go out. I love that you get steaks and you know what I'm saying? Like, I love it, bro. I think that's one of your secrets.
It's a lot of my business too, is being out there, networking, showing people, from a business point of view, like from a recruitment standpoint, like they see you enjoying life and having a good life, they want to have that life too, so not just from a getting business standpoint, you also want to show people that they can also be successful in this industry or in anything they do in life, so that's very important to me. But I always was good at trying to keep those things separate. Like, when you're going through challenges, whether it's work or whatever it is, you have to make time to do those things that are important, outside of business and the bullshit that you're going through. So
yeah, you brought up a good point earlier of when you were talking about the kids, how it's up to them sometimes as well. It's not just the parent, right? It's the kid to like take action, or it's how they handle the situation. And I mean, we're talking about adversity and failure and all that stuff, and it's like the excuses and shit. Like, no one cares. Like, you can make all the excuses you want for.
I didn't go through losing a parent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, think about the excuses that somebody can make about going, when going through certain things in life. So it's like, you can't feel, not that you can't feel bad for anybody, but like I said before, somebody's always got it worse than the next. So yeah, it's up to us to deal. Like, how you dealt with that growing up is just like You can't even explain that as a person that didn't go through that.
Right.
You know?
Right. No, but that's what I'm saying of like, even for the people that are excuse makers, it's like, what does making that excuse do for you? What if you do get people to actually like feel bad for you and show you sympathy and stuff like that? That's all it is.
It's like a mental Band-Aid.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything else. You're still in the same spot that you were, if not in a worse spot.
I agree.
It's like those we know so many people that just make excuses and they say my life is this way because this happened and I'm not at where I want to be because of these circumstances, and it's like, okay. And then
right.
and now what? You know, but it's people live off of that just excuse and just looking for sympathy, and I never got it. And I mean, that was one of the positives I did take from like losing my mom, because it's like, okay, I can make that excuse and I can pour that into every situation in my life. Like, oh, well, my mom died when I was 12, you know, but that doesn't do anything for me. And it's like, people might feel bad for 5 minutes, and guess what? They have their own life and they forgot about it already. They really don't care. As much as they say they do or they show they do, they don't care about your problems, because guess what? They probably have just as much, if not more problems than you. So I just never understood that with the excuse making and stuff like that, because, I mean, you showed, like, you proved it, like, in an 8-month span. I know you said 2 to 3 years, but at least from when I was, like, with you, you know, just how much, like, you could have been like, oh, fuck this shit or do that, you know what I'm saying? But, like, you just turned it up a notch, right? You didn't use excuses to fall down. How many times have we just got knocked down and told no, fucking disrespected by Mr. WW? And, I mean, we could make excuses all day.
Yeah, of course.
You know, we can make excuses all day to be like, but we just keep going.
And think of it, when you're not getting results and you keep going, that shows true character. You know, and that's one of the hardest parts in any business, because I've dealt with that. I'm sure you guys have dealt with that. Putting work in and not getting the results, that's what shows who you truly are. And to be able to keep going through those times, you know, that it has to lead to something bigger and better. It has to.
But I think it's like what you said before about like certain things just have to flower.
Yeah.
Like you have to make certain moves when everyone's winning and everyone's all happy and things are good, and you're working in silence and you're doing things that other people aren't willing to do. And maybe you're not like the big winner right now, but later down the line, certain things pop, man. Certain things pop. So I feel like that's a good way to look at all of our lives, and you know, like all three of our lives. It's just like we're just making investments. You know, we're just constantly making investments. So it's like, do you want to invest into things that are positive and good for you, that lift you up, that are going to take you to that next level, or do you want to constantly just watch Netflix and wake up late and fucking complain and show up to work and be half-assed? Like, I'm sure it drives you crazy in here as a high performer if someone shows up, they're not like dressed appropriately, they're not staying late, because it's like, I'm sure if I was in an office, that's what you have to do to make it. Like, you have to go above and beyond, because it's like even the guys that are going above and beyond, they're still kind of struggling right now.
Jake, you won't believe, bro. That's what I completely agree with you. And a lot of people don't understand that when they haven't done it themselves. Anybody could come put time in, you know, at a location and say, all right, I put in X amount of time, you know, I deserve these results. It's putting the time in when no one's looking, like you said, and doing the extra steps that you need to do and take, you know, to eventually at some point get rewarded. And you don't know when that's going to be. You know, I've become complacent, you know, in business when you get successful and you have good months and then you slow down a little bit, you know, but it's when you're putting in the work that, you know, you're not getting the results from doing. You know, it's like, oh shit, you know, that's amazing, you know, that just happened, or, you know, whatever it is. So, you know, I truly believe that you have to continue no matter where you're at in business, you know, doing great, you know, not doing well, whatever it is, you have to do the things every day. And most people aren't willing to do those things. A lot of people look at other people's habits and routine and success, and they say, well, if he's doing that, or if he's got that, or if he's accomplished that, well, I should have that today, I feel like they think, when they don't realize, you know, the stepping stones that person went through, you know, to get to where they are, you know, and maybe that person's situation is not perfect either. You know, I'm sure you have something they're missing and they have something you're missing, you know, so I feel like that's the problem with a lot of people in this generation is they look at what everybody's doing around them. I never looked at, and you could ask the people who I started with in my business, no matter who it was, and I wasn't this way in the beginning when I was 19, 20 when I started. I slacked 1,000,000%. I would leave the office. I'd smoke a joint with my friends. I was 19, 20 years old. I didn't make the right decisions, but once I realized that, not that, like I said, you compete with people around you, but it is a competition to be successful and push people. Once I realized that you can't be somewhere and not be the best at your job or what you're doing, that's what made me, figure it out. Just naturally figured it out. I can't say, besides putting work in, showing up, doing things others aren't doing, little qualities, I can't say that anything but doing that, help me accomplish anything in life, because that's what it is. It's just doing those little things every single day and week and month. And the things that other people are doing that I'm not doing, that's what takes you to the next step, like the physical fitness, all those things that I'm not great at, that I have to continue to figure out. Which on my 30th birthday, I bet Jared $2,500, and he doesn't have to pay me. I told him, so I'm just paying him. That I'm 90 straight days in the gym after I get back from Florida. So that'll be the start of my journey. I'm not losing. There's no chance. Once there's a monetary investment, there's no way I lose. So that'll be the start in 2 weeks of my.
Well, also, bro, it's like I feel like for you to hit your next level, you actually have to do those
no
things
choice.
now.
Bro. I've looked horrible. I feel like for 15 years, and people could say, "Oh, you look skinny and this and that," or "You look like you're not overweight, so you look great." No, that means nothing. It's about how it is. You guys both know you're into the whole physical, and wellness journey. You have to. Forget looking good. It's feeling good.
Yeah.
I look fine. That's great. Thanks. I'm great. I look fine, but I don't feel good. You have to put the work in to feel good, because I've done it before for a certain amount of time. I didn't ever get to the point where like you got to that next step where it's like, all right, I'm in great shape. I never had that in my life.
Yeah.
So the other people that don't have the monetary success and don't have the other things that some of us have, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. I have to put that work in.
Yeah.
I lack there in that area, so that's my
The good news.
my
The
30-year-old
good
goal.
news is, bro, if you can put the fucking hours in here, you could do it on the outside.
Yeah.
It's just about. I think it's about changing your character, bro. I don't think it's about changing habits. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. Is like they try to change habits, but like you're still the same person that does those habits.
Correct.
So if you're that person, that's what you're going to continue to do. But it's weird, man. Changing your character is hard. Because it's not like, how would I say, it's almost like the times in my life where I have changed my character. I felt like there was something helping me change my character. But I feel like that's one of the greatest books. What is it? The seven. What is it? The
Seven Laws of Spiritual Success.
No. Was it the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
I don't know if it's 7.
It might be.
Is it 7? It might be 7.
Whatever. It might be.
I
It
know,
might
yeah,
not be.
highly
But
yeah.
But it like the one of the not the habit. It might not be the habits, the laws or something like that. But like it just says like in that book how important it is to like have
Laws of attraction.
not the laws of attraction. It's like the fucking whatever. I'm bushing it. I'm a little drunk right now. It's all good. But I'm just saying
After
that there's a
hours.
book After Hours. It's about being effective. It's one of the greatest. I would say business self-development books of all time, and one of the things that it says is so important is having like concrete goals and like revisiting those goals every day. So for everyone at this table, I think it's about like us really laying. I fucking wish I took Think and Grow Rich more serious. Have you guys read it?
Which one?
Think and Grow Rich?
No, I haven't read that.
You told me not. Like you were like, there's nothing good in there.
No, there's definitely good shit in there. It's not like, but that's the thing about it, right? Like we're asking Dean. Dean closed $5 million, a few months ago. Bro, we've interviewed tons of super successful people, and they all say the same thing. And that's why I'm saying there's not good shit in there, because everyone just says it's hard fucking work, bro.
Crazy,
Yeah.
right? They all say
It's-
it's hard work.
It's and that's the thing about that book. The book doesn't say that success is hard work. They say that you need to have a burning desire. So you don't have to
You
read.
have to love what you do. As much as like it gets stressful, even in our business. Like on Sunday, I'm sitting there like I cannot wait to get to my desk on Monday.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't have that.
Well, how do you keep? So that's my question. How do you keep that burning obsession?
Is it because you touched that money before, so you know what happens when you do that? Because for us, I'll just be quick for us, like we haven't seen like we've had the interviews, we've had the virality, we've done the views, but it hasn't resulted in money. And like you said, like money does make life a lot easier and a lot better. So that's why it's hard for us, and or maybe we get discouraged at times to put in those extra hours all the time because like it hasn't led to anything. But I feel like once you get a taste of it, you become addicted to it and you know the recipe that got you there. So do you think that's what it is, where it's like because you've made the money doing it, so now that's why on Sunday night you're fucking salivating like I can't wait to get in there Monday because you know what could happen?
That's definitely part of it. 1,000,000%. I'll be completely honest. I would never be in an industry where I can't financially reward my family and myself. Right. I wouldn't even waste my time. You know, yeah, obviously it's about loving what you do, but I love what I do. I love the mortgage industry, or I wouldn't be in it. There's plenty of things you can do and be successful at besides doing what I do every single day. And it's not easy. You know, I'm sure even in the years to come, I'm going to go through challenges, and it's going to be about how can we grow now? How can we grow faster and get bigger and bigger and bigger? You know, so no matter what level you're at or what point you're at in life, you're always going to want to get bigger and better and grow more and more and more. But going back to kind of what you were saying, I truly don't think there's any special formula, like you guys said, like everybody says, besides hard work and educating yourself. People don't want to educate themselves. They think they could just go out there and be successful, you know. But I truly believe that, like, if I start a career today in an industry that, you know, I'm in, whatever could be completely random, I'm gonna look at the most successful people in that business or in that industry, and I'm gonna take the things that they're doing and apply them into my routine. Now, I feel like a big problem in today's day and age is you have a lot of people on social media that are just either extremely successful and have the money already or look like they have it but they have nothing. You know, so I don't always agree with all of the people that made it already, because sometimes they just say like, well, you have to do this and this, and like it's easy to say that when you have $50 million already.
Of course.
You know, but for the average person, you know, maybe you can't go borrow $2 million to buy that apartment building, like, you know, Grant Cardone says on his with his content.
Yeah.
Not everybody has, and I shouldn't say that because you create your own environment, you know. But not everybody thinks. I guess they don't think they have the resource to be able to do those things, you know. But if you put yourself around the right people, you know, I feel like anybody can. And it's a little bit of luck. I truly believe that anybody can get lucky at the right time, you know, with hard work, always number one, and by putting yourself around the right people. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, I always looked at the people around me and took the positives and the negatives from those people. You know, there's no magic formula besides doing that, besides looking at who accomplished what I want to accomplish. How do I do that and be better at it, you know? Sometimes people take that the wrong way. Like, you want to be better than them. It's not about being better than them. I want to be the best at what I'm doing, you know, and you should want that for yourself and your family as well. That's my honest opinion. So, yeah, there's no magic recipe, bro. It's just really, it's hard work, which sounds silly because that's like this most simple thing you feel like people should do is just work hard, you know. But like I said a million times, with the hard work comes educating yourself and putting yourself around the right people. And if you put those couple of things together, something has to work, man. You know, something has to work. And there's been a lot of success stories that we've heard that happen late in life for people. You know, I read a stat last week that the average person becomes a millionaire like in their 50s and 60s, you know, and that's discouraging.
It is discouraging.
That sounds kind of discouraging.
But I don't think it has to be that way.
You know why, though, it's like that? Because they teach you growing up that you need to get this job to get this pension, and if you don't do this way, then this is going to happen, and it's not going to work out. You know, whereas I'll give you an example. They always say people that are self-employed don't have a pension or don't have a retirement. Whether you're self-employed, whether you're in a job that gets a pension, a teacher, a police officer, or any of those professions, we create that ourselves. We pay in. They pay into it, just like we would pay into it if we were smart. People that are self-employed that start businesses, they're just not forced to do certain things. When you get a job that you're working for somebody, at like a school or a cop or somebody who gets a pension and the benefits, you pay into that. So they always say, like, do it this way because then you're going to have this when you're 65 years old and, that's the way you're supposed to do life. I completely disagree with that. I don't knock educating yourself and giving back by being a teacher or, in civil service. I do a ton of loans for veterans and I thank them for their service every single day because I honor people like that. Both of my grandfathers were veterans. But I don't necessarily agree with like how they tell you life should go. Like, think about it. What's the life expectancy for a male? It's like in the low to mid 70s. Yeah. So how are you supposed to tell me that I'm supposed to work from 16 years old when you're allowed to legally work, right? I think it's 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Up until 62 or 65.
Yeah.
So I worked 50 years to then maybe enjoy 10 if I'm lucky. I don't know. I'll never agree with that.
And even living that life, it goes into like the quote that they say, like, most men die at 25. They're just not buried until they're 75.
Yeah.
It's a fucking great quote.
It's like when you sign up for that life to work for the rest of your life, you basically gave it up. You're not living for yourself anymore. You're living just to, you're working just to live. To what? At 65, 70 years old, finally get money if you're still healthy, if you're still alive, if you took the right health, precautions leading up to that. Yep. To what? Then travel the world? Then go and do the things that you always wanted to do and you dreamed of as that you wanted to do in your prime. That's why I'm just such a big believer in like this, like the dream chaser life and to eat shit for years to when you are 25, 26. So like, you never have to look back and be like, I gave up on the shit that I actually wanted to do when I had the capability to do it.
Exactly.
And that's what the system teaches us, that this is the right way to do it. And guess what? It's because they did it. And everyone before them did it. And everyone is just a copycat. It's a copycat society. And they just do what they're told because the people before them did it. And sometimes you have to break that cycle. And sometimes you're the only person in your family that ever breaks that cycle.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I saw a quote a couple of weeks ago that says, like, there's always that one person in their bloodline that changes the way their family thinks forever, for the generations to come.
Facts.
And I love that because that's my goal, is to, especially in this day and age, this world has become, not to get into certain things, but this world is not the way even we grew up. It's just unbelievable the way that some people think they should operate in life in general.
I want to say, bro, this is important for me. And I said this on the podcast that we did, I've been in a weird place lately, bro, just because I've been a little flabbergasted almost with like, what the fuck is life a little bit?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
I always think that.
But that's helping me because, all right, I'm watching a movie the other day. I've been like feeling almost like psychic. It sounds fucking so stupid, but bro, I'm watching a movie the other day. This person, I've never seen the fucking movie before, and someone asked this person a question, and I answered the question, and it was exactly what the answer was to the question. And like maybe I guessed it. I could have like potentially guessed it, but like I guessed like 6 words out of the fucking 10,000 words in the English language. So all I'm saying is like, bro, I have been around certain people, thank God. And this was the best thing that I think I did coming out of Huntington was leaving. I fucking left. And for whatever reason, and I also think like just growing up the way that we grow up, I remember, bro, when, maybe for the viewers, this doesn't do anything for them, but between us, I remember, bro, growing up as like just a kid from Huntington where like, the parents did okay, but seeing like Mike Giacobbe, who at the time was 17, have a hatchback Escalade.
That was the best car in the world.
It was the best car in the world, bro.
Damn right.
It blew my mind.
And he had his license suspended, so I was his driver. So I got to drive that thing growing up.
And you had like $5,000 in cash on your phone, like on the back of, and like there was things that were happening at that young age for I was 14 years old that just blew my mind. And at 14 years old, I got to get with the hottest girls. That blew my mind. And then later in life, when I realized that I had to go to Nassau Community College, but I was going there when everyone said I was a loser for going there, but then I ended up getting a full ride Division I football scholarship. It blew my mind. So I've just been, and then fast forward years later to developing anxiety, and then beating anxiety without ever going to a therapist or taking medication. It blew my mind. And then last thing, stepping into the actually two more things, stepping into the filmmaking role, and then going to Miami. And you think affluence here is like a Range Rover and a Mercedes Benz, and then it's basically like a Lamborghini as a taxi cab over there. It blew my mind.
I know, it's unbelievable.
And then bro, I met all of these people, bro. I met 17-year-olds that were Uber Eatsing Poppy steak. It blew my mind. Like I'm just, what I'm saying, over and over, and these things kept blowing my mind. And we start the podcast. He sends me a clip. I'm thinking nothing up. I'm thinking like it's a joke. We have all the equipment. We just set it up one day. And there's a clip of me with 100,000 views. I woke up in the morning, 100,000 views. This is like 2 years ago. And it blew my mind. And then I decided I wanted to do that. And then now, fast forward 2 years later, I have 200,000 followers on Instagram. That's fucking crazy. All real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we just interviewed the guy from War Dogs. A movie was shot by this guy, Miles Teller, and fucking Jonah Hill played the guy. We interviewed him. And so I'm basically, the whole point of this entire like rant was just to say that like, I'm realizing how crazy life is. And I just encourage people to think greater. Think great. You have to think greater than what your current circumstances are. Because who's to say that your life can't be whatever you want it to be? If you're around people that have ever done anything truly amazing in their life, it never makes sense.
Correct.
It's never realistic. It's never, I'm sure, bro, people are in this office right now that are new, that just looked at what you did. It doesn't make sense. And to you, it's like, it's just what you do. And there's people that you want to be like, that maybe it doesn't make sense to you right now. But that's what I'm saying is I just encourage anyone to never think that anything is not possible, because I've just been around enough people that have broken the word impossible over and over and over and over again. And although I get discouraged at times, I never quit, because I know that it's all going to work out, because I believe it will. And that's all the evidence that I need is when you truly believe in something with everything you have, that thing just happens.
I agree with you. That goes for anything in life. Like you said, when you truly believe in it, keep putting the work in, surround yourself with the right people, which is something I always say. Good things have to come. Good things have to come. So
that's it.
Well, yeah, man.
It's a good app.
That's it, man.
There we go. Welcome back to After Hours.
Welcome back to the After Hours podcast.
Congratulations, man. To
like,
us.
subscribe, drop a comment. I know I should have said this at the beginning.
No, that's good.
Fuck it.
And that's it, brothers. I appreciate it, man.
Good stuff.